Hello and welcome back. I first want to apologize for the bounciness of the framework here. I am wearing a chest GoPro again. I was in a classroom setting here and I didn't want to weird anybody out around me, the model or the students, so I'm just recording the surface that I'm drawing on. And I sped up the footage 250% so that we could get this video compressed down and show as much as possible within a 10-minute time allotment. The process that I'm working with is called observation drawing. And with this, it's a little different from the other processes that I've shown in the Gnomon DVDs that I've done for both male and female heads. In those DVDs, I was doing figure construction or head construction as well as head abstraction. I call those mechanical tools that help the illustrator or help an entertainment artist, where this is where you go to really learn how to see. This is slowing down and seeing more, and maybe drawing a little less, but recording things on the page that are permanent and assist in creating that illusion of 3 dimensions. This is our piano scales. This is our hard work and hard practice. Observation drawing takes many more hours than figure construction or figure abstraction because you're not taking any shortcuts. You're looking at everything on the surface and recording it, which means you might also be cheating the light source a little bit. If the model has a powerful light source on them, the light can take away the subtlety and we have to fill it back in. In this case, the model is under north light, and north light can also produce a washed out effect where all the subtlety has disappeared, and we need to state it back. So in the first part, the envelope, we're looking for just a few lines that frame the space that we're going to be spending all of our time in, maybe 5 or 6 lines altogether. Those lines are connected together by the highest point or the furthest point out extruded in any surface area. We connect those points together in what's called the implied line. Once that space has been defined, we can see its height and its width, and those proportions seem to be working well. We then shrink wrap that envelope against the surfaces now more specifically. So we'll see the crook in the nose. We'll see the tip of the nose changing direction. We'll see the tooth cylinder and the lips within that space. But we're just defining the outsides of these surfaces. Then I'll go in and block out the space where the eye socket terminates, where the edge of the nose and where the back edge of the nose connects to the skull. Maybe the corner of the mouth, because especially in profile like this, the mouth creates a ridge that separates the front from the side of the body of the head. Once those lines have been defined, then I'll go to work looking for tones. In this case, the word is Notan, which means light-dark relationship. It's a Japanese word, and we're looking for simple values to begin with. And that value will fit in a value range of, say, a value 5 or 6, looking for a medial value, something in between the most extremes. But what it becomes is an extreme in the very beginning, because that sets the tone for how everything else is going to be filled out. And that value will change. It will get darker and darker as we go, because as we develop more facets, we need more values to create those facets. If we have the whole drawing really light, then we limit the number of values we can actually use to turn a surface. As you can see also, I'm looking for lots and lots of little patches or surfaces, subsurfaces within the surfaces. So as we define, say for example, where the cheekbone comes down and forward towards the nose, and then turning down into the laugh line or the tooth cylinder space on the head, we first start with something that's a little more generalized, possibly. And then from there, we break that up into all the smaller surfaces. Now, why I say possibly is because some of us will just go into those smaller surfaces. For myself, because I've done so many different disciplines in drawing, I kind of blend them all together. And in this case here, you can say that I'm drawing very loosely. I'm not following strict procedure in observation drawing. Because I've done this as much as I have, I'm kind of jumping ahead in a few places to develop things out in the way that I need to see them, and then I'll continue developing them even further. As I'm drawing, I'm building everything in hatch lines, hatching as opposed to cross hatching in the very beginning. The hatch lines helped direct the eye. So as many different patches as I put on, each space is going to be hatched, and those hatch lines are going to flow with each other. They're not going to contradict one another, like having lines horizontal bump into vertical lines. The first lines that I'm putting in are going around the form, and they should seamlessly connect together for you, the viewer, to be able to see around the form as well. Once those hatch lines have been put in, I might counter them with cross hatch lines, which simply softens the space and reduces the effect or the influence of those lines driving you in a certain direction. I'm not looking for the eye to move over the surface as of yet. I'm just looking for surfaces. Towards the end of the drawing, I'll be more concerned with how I want the viewer to look at those surfaces. But I have to understand the context for which I'm going to be developing that first. So with these dark spots, the Notan spots, the contrast of the light, we have to bridge them together. And the bridging of them comes in the form of gradation. But instead of just making a washed over gradation, those gradations are created by each of the separate facets that get a little bit lighter or a little bit darker as they transition from one to the next. You can see now that I am putting in more value over the top of all of those little patch lines, and that's the cross hatch line that will start to soften things together and remove the hard facet between each of those spaces and build subtlety as they roll together. The facets are important. We want them in the picture because that is what helps the viewer see that this is not just a flat object. But at the same time, we don't want those facets to be so overpowering that all you see is technique and you don't see anything else like a living model on the page. The idea is to create the illusion of life, and however you need to do that will hopefully help you get the result that you're looking for in the end. The ultimate illusion is a picture that has no technique getting in the way of what you're looking at. I've read it once before that it's sort of like if the technique is in front of the picture, then it's like a bug on the windshield, and we can't see through the bug to see the clear picture on the other side. We have to remove that bug from the windshield, and then we have a clear picture of everything in front of us. Kind of a goofy analogy, but it does help understand some of the things that we're dealing with technically. Also, when I'm hatching, I am not scratching back and forth with the pencil. I'm only drawing in one direction. My hand has to go over to the other side to restart another line, but I'm not dragging the pencil across the page. If I did this, it would create lots of little serrated edges along each patch that when I overlap another patch with them, all of a sudden they become really noisy, and that's something that I have to further eliminate. I'm trying not to mar the surface so much that it looks like I had a battle trying to get all of this stuff put together. I want it to all complement itself. So I have to discipline my hand to put tone in a very specific way on the page, or I could very well break the picture apart just by shading it alone. Also, the gradations that I'm putting in are not generalized gradations. They are going specifically with each surface, and that is what helps build out the volumes in the way that you're looking for them. If we were to just think about a gradation as going from light to dark across a surface area, we may miss out on a huge opportunity to develop all of the subtleties over the surfaces. In building out certain details also, with the model lit by a powerful light source, there is no hierarchy of light and dark. The artist has to define that. So I'm toning things down like the ear purposefully, even though the ear is lit just as bright as the front of the face, because I don't want you looking at the ear, especially in profile. I want you to look at the features of the face and see the eyes first, then move around the other features and see everything else in addition to the eyes. So you can say that in any drawing we do, we are in total control and we do not copy from life directly, absolutely. We have to change that up a little bit in order for us to create a solution for how we want the viewer to react to the picture. Thank you for coming along this ride with me, and there will be more videos on the features of the face and so forth coming soon. And if you want, you can check out my Gnomon DVDs on the male and the female portrait. Those are more construction and abstraction, but very useful and a lot of information packed into those videos. Take care, and I'll see you soon.